Stuff was open. Keith showed up almost immediately with donuts for us. And then Adam from the pizza box came and brought us a pizza. And I'm just like, the show hasn't even started yet. And I've already got food. They had coffee waiting for us at Fergs.
Yeah, it was great.
I mean, it was a perfect start to the day. And then it just went on to be an unbelievable day in St. Petersburg, both at Fergs and then at Tropicana Field.
And then back at Fergs. Then Babby and Zalupski and Governor DeSantis. Everyone was back at Fergs. They it was the craziest thing. They did like a victory walk. It was like a wrestling promo, like over to Fergs, and then they're on stage drinking, having a time.
Should we overlay the New World Order music from when Hogan went, heel, and put the New World Order music under those guys?
Yeah, they got glasses on stage. For some reason, I don't know why I added that, but it looked cool. They looked cool, and it was something that you just want to be a part of.
It was awesome,
and it took. And I know we're like, it might seem like we're overblowing the new ownership. But when you have a moment like that...
Maybe you don't even need the word over.
Yeah, but I used it for safety. You don't want to... But you want an ownership group that looks like they're part of it and they're enjoying the party that they're putting on. And they certainly enjoyed the party they were putting on. And after a win, it was perfect. If they lose, they're not doing that.
No, absolutely. It would look almost weird if they did, right? Like, even though I think they could still do it, you could still say, hey, you know what? Bummer that we lost, but we wanted to celebrate such an amazing day with all of you anyways, because it is such a big moment for Tampa Bay. So I could have understood that. But in general, it was phenomenal. The whole day was phenomenal.
What a thing for Fergs. They absolutely crushed it.
I know. First they have us out there, and then they've got the owners out there.
And yeah, right? They must have been, I mean, for them, to have no baseball there last year.
Yeah.
And then to day one, everyone shows up like that. And they must have made a fortune. Good on them.
The place was jamming yesterday. When we got off the air, it's hard because we were in a room, right, which was beautiful because it was air conditioning in there. I really appreciated that. But we were in a room, and then there's like a lot of the bars is kind of outside, right? So if you've been there, you know what we're talking about. Until we got done with the show and really got outside that room, I didn't realize how many people were there.
A lot of goons. Thank you to all the listeners who showed up yesterday. So many. We talked with. I know I introduced you to a couple of people. I was talking to Sam as well.
Yeah.
We had so many listeners out there that, and I know you guys were doing the rounds as well, that just are so loyal to us, and I love hearing those stories.
Yeah.
People that have listened for since we were on Saturdays, but will listen for hours plus, or go back and listen to the podcast. And thank you.
I was so glad you brought me out to meet gorgeous Richard Borges because it was his birthday yesterday. He was like psyched. Like he looked at us and was like, I might cry. And I was like, whoa, I feel like the Beatles right now. But I
said, do it.
He was awesome. And then when he first said he was telling me the story. And he goes, my last name is Borges. And I said, is that Portuguese? And he's like, him and his wife both, their eyes got huge. Like, how did you know? And I'm like, well, where I grew up, we had a lot of Portuguese people. And I worked for this Portuguese family, and they used to cook me all this food, and so like,
you have also weird tidbits of knowledge that would shock the world.
That is like the Borges being Portuguese is not like that groundbreaking of knowledge. Like,
I don't think I would have got it right. I don't think I would have got it right, but it was really fun. It was, and then afterwards, I was so disgusting. After I stayed till around
disgusting.
I stayed till a little after 1, so we were hanging out for hours after the show. And then Sam, I was on with Nick and Rock for a little bit, and Sam Cohen, our executive producer, got us some wings. Me and him split some wings.
The wings looked amazing, by the way.
They were fantastic.
Nick had, I don't know what kind they were, but Nick had some wings that looked great, too.
I wanted to get medium. I went with mild because Sam's little mouth can't handle anything more than mild.
Wrong. You went medium.
Did I go medium?
I will not
I asked for
correct
mild.
you on air, but I will.
I asked for mild.
I got to stand my ground.
I asked for mild. You said,
no,
and I did that for you.
Medium. I promise.
Why would I bring it up if I asked for mild? If
I might have
asked for
said
medium?
mild, but we
either.
went
I mean,
medium.
either way, even if I got medium or not, fact remains the same as your mouth is soft.
I like that he said, listen, when it comes to what level of wings we ate, I need to stand my ground. He'll stand his ground to Aaron Jacobson about wings, but I don't know if he'll stand his ground to everybody.
We got to get into this. Do we do this right now? It's so early.
Yeah, we can
feel
get
like-
back into it. You know, it feels like it should be topic A, right? Like Rays open new ballpark / Sam Cohen and Brian Hartline love affair.
Also, Michigan national champions. Congratulations
Yes.
to the Wolverines. Nice performance yesterday for them. Getting it done. The madness is over. Sadness for most. Happiness for Michigan.
So we had Brian Hartline on the show. Sam did a great job getting him on with us. So when I saw that he was there, I went over and I introduced myself and was like, hey, Pat Donovan, I do the morning show here, and you came on with us. I really appreciate it. And then Sam came over as well. We were introducing ourselves, and we were just talking for a second, and then Brian says, like, hey, tonight's the Natty, isn't it? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, who's in it? And Sam goes, UConn and Michigan. I go, well, Michigan and UConn. And right away, he kind of like nods his head or whatever, doesn't say much about it. And then Sam's like, yeah, Coach is like a big Michigan fan. And I can't remember all the jokes. There were like 3 jokes in
You
a
did
row.
3? I thought there was 1.
No, it was that. I said, you know who Coach is cheering for? Then the conversation continued for a little bit, but we were still talking about the Natty. And then I said, oh, I bet you Coach is going to wear his maize and blue pullover. And then he just looked me dead in the face and was like, blank jokes.
No, that's the Maize and Blue, I think, was the 3rd joke.
I thought that was the first. I
Right.
was told by Sam that was the first joke.
The
Andy-
first was the UConn thing.
No, but then there was because he even noted to me afterwards, right?
Was when
He's-
Sam walked away. He noted more to you.
Well, so it was weird because he didn't seem super friendly, to be 100% honest, right? At all, like.
Which
in-
I hate to say
in
because
general.
he came
Yeah.
all that way to do the show, which was so nice of him. He did it with T-Kraz. I walked over to you guys. I said a couple things. I I cracked a joke right away. I said a couple things to him, and I was just like, very trying to be relatable. And he said, "Yeah, it's beautiful here." And I said, "Well, yeah, you play golf?" And he's like, "I don't have time for that." I'm like, "All right," all right. And then I walked away. I was like, "I don't." He's a nice guy, nice
Yeah.
enough. I
no,
guess,
listen,
but-
I liked him, but like I'm always gonna be honest with my opinion. He's not super outgoing and friendly. Like
Yeah.
people saying hi to him on the way out.
maybe he was nervous.
Maybe he was, but so I think it was 3 jokes from my memory, Sam, because it was the first couple I noticed him kind of nod him off and not really say anything, and then finally you hit the 3rd one and he just looked at you and said, "Those are bleepy jokes. It rhymes with pity and it starts with SH."
Did he say it in a manner in which he was joking, or did he say it in a deadpan, like,
Very
stop
serious.
talking to me?
Very serious.
Yeah.
Said those are crappy jokes.
God forbid a guy make a joke.
No laugh, no smile, no smirk on his face, just those are bleep jokes.
Oh, 100%.
So the strange thing is, he went from like, I felt kind of unfriendly or like not in a great mood ish. I don't know how to put it, but like not exactly talkative, right? To like after the jokes and him saying those are bleepy jokes. We had a great conversation.
When
me and Coach.
I walked away, because I was like, I don't want. If the guy's like too serious to go, I don't play ball. I don't have time for that. I was like, all right, and nice enough that he came here. I'm gonna go do my thing where I can go talk to people that want to talk to me. So I walked away and I look over and I thought the same thing as you. I was like, maybe he's just nervous or he's not a friendly guy. And I walked over, I turned my head, and I see you alone with Coach Hartline, and he's laughing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And you're laughing, and I'm like, maybe just he's a Pat Donovan guy.
Maybe. But so we're having this great conversation, and in the middle, this guy Opie comes over and introduces himself
Opie
to
looks
me.
great. One of our
right?
listeners. He looks awesome.
Couldn't care less about Brian Hartline. It's just like, boom, in the middle of our conversation. Hey, I'm Opie. And dude, Opie was awesome. Opie's energy was like the best.
Yeah.
Like he was so cool.
Great
So
hair.
We talked for a couple minutes, Opie and I, and then I kind of got back into it with Coach Hartline. And Opie walked over to introduce himself to T-Kraz. And Opie had, I'll just say, an inappropriate shirt you probably shouldn't laugh at, but I found it hilarious. And I saw that Brian Hartline looked at his shirt, and I just said, hey, you got to admit, that shirt is definitely funnier than my producer's jokes.
You circle back
Oh,
on
yeah.
it?
Oh, yeah.
That's messed up.
And he goes, hold on. He goes, yeah, you know what? I didn't say anything the first 2 times, but the 3rd time I had to be like, listen, that's enough.
Oh, man.
I would be mad about it or like take offense, but you work in college athletics and you don't even know who's playing in the national championship game. So if you have to ask me, a low-level producer who's playing in the Natty?
Hold on, you are not a low-level producer. You're the executive producer
of a morning drive radio show in a
All I'm
major
saying,
market.
Yeah, if I wanted to be offended, I would be offended by a college coach who knows who's playing in the national championship.
So you did the joke again here twice.
I thought if you should be offended, I wouldn't even bring it up on the air. I thought it was funny. Like I was honest enough to say I didn't think the guy was being super friendly, and I had a great conversation with him. Like I like Coach Hartline a lot. He's also a little rough around the edges.
He's
like
rough.
That's just how some people are.
That's a good football coach.
Yeah.
I want my football coach to be like that,
Right?
honestly.
You're so right. He's football. Like, that's why I didn't hold it against him. In my head, I go, this guy's nice enough to come all the way out. He lives in Tampa.
Yeah.
Come all the way out to when we were talking, he hadn't been, like, I got a couple good things at him. He hadn't been to that part of town. He said it was beautiful. So there were parts of him, very nice guy. And then there were parts where, like I said, I don't know if he was nervous or just a lot of people where I went, maybe I should just step away because he's getting talked to a lot.
He's rough around the edges and he's blunt. I can, like, sometimes people think I'm like that because I just say what I think, like, and I don't really care what people think about it. And Brian Hartline's a lot like that.
I did get him on the way out. He asked, saw him talking to Chris Mathis, and he's like, "Can I get some wings?" And I said, "Coach, you want him to go?" And he goes, "That would be great." So that was the last thing he remembers from me is getting him wings to go as being his waiter. But no, he was on air. He was great, nice enough.
Yeah.
Maybe when I came over, like he was just annoyed with Sam from the jokes. That's why. That's the coach I was getting, was his annoyance from the jokes. You know, when a guy leaves a school like Ohio State, where he was not the head coach, but he's gone. He's not at Ohio State anymore. That Michigan rivalry, like, you don't want to talk about that anymore.
But he's always Ohio State.
He's always Ohio State. I know that. But when we talk about when he's moving on to coach USF, I don't think he wants to talk about that.
Yeah.
Or think about that.
Yeah. Or get 8 jokes about it.
But yeah, he'll forever be Ohio State.
How many jokes, Sam?
And Miami Dolphins.
I thought it was 2. I guess it was 3. But also, if he didn't want to talk about it, he wouldn't have talked about his Ohio State receiver building with T-Kraz when he was on the afternoon drive. He left Ohio State, so I thought it was fair game to make a Michigan joke.
It's one thing to talk about, I think, for him, what he built and guys he worked with at Ohio State. It's another thing to talking about a rivalry that he's no longer, as far as right now, currently a part of.
Exactly. That's why I didn't think he would get like so annoyed by the joke. Like, you're not part of the rivalry anymore.
I don't know that he was annoyed by the joke. I think he was annoyed by the quality of the jokes, according to Coach Hartline.
But like, here's where I might be wrong. Like, when you're in that rivalry, not just as a coach, but as a player, like somebody who played for the university, that is forever.
Yeah, that's why I said he's forever Ohio State.
That is forever.
Not because he coached there for a little while, but because
playing there.
Yeah. So I thought it was pretty hilarious.
I thought your jokes were funny, Sam.
Yes.
That the ones that you relayed back.
They didn't land, but they were okay.
Yeah. I thought they were good. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Sorry,
You should
Coach
not.
Hartline, if I offended you.
But you came over to me. I saw the look in your eye, like you body bags, like
it was a murder.
Yeah, body
It's just
bags.
like, it was more of a, wow, this guy, I don't want to be rude on the air. It was like, yeah, he's just like, okay, maybe I'm not going to have a conversation outside of a press conference with this guy ever again.
Why didn't you say to him, you don't know who's playing in the national championship tonight?
Because that would have started the conversation off poorly. Had I known it was going to get to where it was, like if he was going to dislike me anyways, then yeah, I guess
So in hindsight, if you could go back right now knowing everything that took place.
Like, you don't know?
You think you would do that, Pat?
No, absolutely
no way.
not.
That guy's massive.
Not for a split second.
So I'm glad you said that, Aaron. Just because someone's big, like if I would have said that to him, he's not just going to punch me in the face.
No, he's not. But
exactly. So I'm not worried about him being big. We're in a huge place with a bunch of people. Like, he's not going to be like, oh, let me punch this kid in the mouth.
If he did, though, oh man, you've made it.
Lawsuit.
If he pushed, I wouldn't even go lawsuit. It's just like if that's going viral.
I would
like,
hope it got recorded.
You'll be on Barstool in no time.